Welcome back, Subscriber Dynasty. This is going to be kind of the last video to round everything out with the Tennessee team. We're going to show some career stats of some of our playmakers. A few guys on defense, a few guys on offense. We're going to wrap up the recruiting and see how that went and show you the end stuff on what I do to kind of close that out and put a little bow on it. And I'm going to have Chef, and I've said this before, I'm going to have Chef fast forward it to like week 1 or preseason or whatever and just show what the team would have looked like going into the 4th year. Jamal Murphy, he was 443 for 573 with a little over 5,100 yards. A lot of interceptions. You know, we throw a lot of interceptions around here. Almost 200 yards a game and 77% completion. That's pretty good. Almost 11 yards a completion. He was sacked 50 times almost. Oh, that's all the stats it shows for this? I guess it is. Let's get on down to the rushing. Of course, Morris. 500. It's only in 2 seasons. He's coming. This man's a sophomore. He's coming back next year. 517 for 3257. 35 touchdowns, 62 yards. He averages about 120 a game. 605 yards after contact. That's pretty good. 6 broken tackles. That's more than that. He's fumbled it 4 times. It seems like every time somebody fumbles on our team, it's like in a key possession. Wilson. This guy here, I'm pretty sure he was a running back that we converted over. 68 reception for 1,100 yards. He's a good little slot receiver. A lot better than I thought our receivers were going to be this last year. Of course, he's coming back. Jefferson done a hell of a job. He's gone. He's a tight end. But then again, he stayed on the tight end, but for whatever reason, Holland, the other tight end, was in there for receiving. I don't know why. Maybe he's a better receiver than Jefferson is. I think that kind of rounds out the receiving stars that we had. Not a lot of good receivers. We had good receivers, just not like star receivers that somebody would remember. What else? Blocking, Defensive, if it'll get there. Greenwood. He's only a sophomore. He really come around this year. A lot better than when he was a freshman. Only 1 tackle, apparently, wasn't a solo tackle. 21 tackles for a loss, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions out of our linebacker. For any time one of my linebackers get an interception, that's just icing on the cake, baby. I think he had pass deflections, 3 forced fumbles. We don't have a lot of forced fumbles on our team. Interceptions, yes. Forced fumbles, no. McBride, he might have been here already. He turned out to be, he was a defensive end. I moved him to defensive tackle. He done a hell of a job. And his block shredding, that's probably the reason why the quarters worked out so well. Kind of an unsung hero type guy because of his just presence, on the inside there. Being a true, like a defensive tackle. Like his speed's not all that good, but his power moves and that kind of stuff of shredding blocks and getting to the ball carrier really probably opened it up a lot for Greenwood. Reese, that's one of our other coverage guys. He had a couple of, let me see what we got here. He had 1 interception. Who else? Brooks is a senior? I get him mixed up with somebody else. He only had 6 interceptions. But Nugent, man, 15 career interceptions. He had like 3 in that one game, I think, or was it 2? I can't remember. But he's coming back. Vaughn, he's a sophomore. He's coming back. He's one of the guys that's back and forth between linebacker and defensive end. Siegel, he's a sophomore. He's done pretty good. Briggs, he's the other linebacker that really didn't get to get on the field that much. But like I said, I wanted to just run through the stats and kind of show off those guys for a little bit. We'll be back with once Chef does the advance. We'll look at the recruiting and see where we're at. Okay, we're in the off-season recruiting phase. Let's go over here and check the top class. I think we end up getting like 4th, 3rd. LSU come up there. They're number 1 recruiting class. We got a couple more 4-star players, actually. That's quite all right. I think there's only 2 players. I looked at this beforehand. There's 2 guys. Basically, what I'm just going to do here, just for the sake of this video, I'm going to split the points in half. Well, actually, I'm not going to do that. Let's see. Outside linebacker. And then one other guy that was an athlete or a Strong safety that we were going to move to. Linebacker. And this guy's almost an 80 wide receiver. We're not going to do that. We're putting 15,000 on this dude. I don't need him. I don't need this guy. Is there any stats here that are fantastic? Let's see. Great acceleration for a linebacker. 82 block shredding. 80's okay. Never mind. Let's not do that. He's actually seems a lot better than a 76. Why is he a 76? His tackling's a 72. That's why. He's got some other stats that are fantastic, though. But with that block shredding of 82, what's his speed? 79? Strength of 82. Looks like a defensive end to me. We're going to split these points in half here, best we can. Okay, got him split in half. Just wanted to cut all that out. It took forever to get up to 7,500. That thing needs to go faster. But normally, there's a lot more people, and while I'm thinking about it, some people have said, hey, you know, why don't you play an offline, you know, Dynasty with the teams? This is why. When you're in the subscriber Dynasty, you never have recruiting classes that look like this, where you get every single person that you want with everybody here that's 80, 80, 77, 81, 77, 79, 70. You don't get recruiting classes like that. 79, 79, all these people that are almost 80s, like ready to go, like instant starters. Doesn't work like that. I would probably venture to guess that probably half of these players would have ended up on somebody else's team if everybody was recruiting in the Dynasty. The only thing that I can say as far as recruiting to end the little recruiting mini-series that we had, don't be afraid to let somebody go to put a shit ton of points on one player if there's, you know, that much. We'll probably end up getting both of these guys, and if we don't get them, who cares? And if we do, yippee. It doesn't really matter as far as the recruiting class that we got and the players that we got coming back. It doesn't matter, but that's the one thing that I will say. Don't try to get everybody. Pick the best player that's going to fit in your system. If it's one person, then you know what? Getting one person is better than, you know, losing out and getting two mediocre players. One really good player in NCAA can really turn things around, especially if he's a really good wide receiver, you know, or running back or something like that. I'll put 15,000 on him. Like I said, you guys don't see it because I don't put that stuff out there, because obviously I don't want everybody knowing how many points I'm putting there. I mean, that's an obvious thing. We ended up getting both the players that we put points on before the little previous cut, and ended up second in the recruiting ranks, but that's kind of because LSU didn't recruit and a lot of people didn't recruit, so that kind of just is what it is. Oh my gosh, defense would be nasty. +5 press and +4 man coverage, and in some regards, this stuff is really overpowered if you get this all the way up with an offensive coordinator. I mean, all your defensive players get +2 speed, +4 agility, +4 acceleration, and +3 strength for games. That's ridiculous, and especially this +2 tackle, +4 pursuit, and +3 hit power. You know how nasty that defense is going to be with all those stats to game time? Be fucking sick good. What we're gonna do, I don't even know why I'm showing this. I guess I'm just doing it for the hell of it. But one of these, I guess, because I don't want to put anything on this. I'm not a big fan of the insta commit, and the two locksmiths is enough. So we'd probably start building this stuff up and probably start with that one there. Actually, we'd probably do this one here, actually, because that icing the kicker, that shit does probably help out. This deal here, that doesn't rattle me at all. I don't give a shit about the shaky play art. Let's check out this depth chart. I actually haven't seen it yet. So Kendall Harrison, we've seen a little bit of him when Murphy went down. I think for one game we put him in instead of Powers. But he's a sophomore, 81, 86 speed. What's his throwing? 92 elusiveness. Hey, I like that. Spin move, juke move, carrying is a 59. Ain't that shitty. Whenever we get to the throwing, somewhere, wherever it's at, somewhere. Zone. There it is. 86 and 82. Man, that's not so great, actually. This was good, though. Freshman, Chester Malone. Chester Max, almost. Throw accuracy, 96. That's pretty good. Our running backs. Fielder's actually starting over Morris? They started Fielder over Morris in the depth chart. How about that? Isn't that something? And Fielder hardly ever got in. They're both at 89 overall. 97 speed for Morris. We got some good backs here. 93, 97, 91. Not so much with Red with the speed, but that's quite all right. 89 break tackle. 77 trucking. 98 elusiveness for him. Huh. We would obviously put Morris in the number 1 spot. But right there, that's how it would look. I just backed out by accident. I don't want to back out. Let's go back in. The fullback, it's not going to be these guys. It would be either Holland or Carter. I'm not going to go through here and actually change it, but it's not going to be Woodard. It's not going to be him. So check out our wide receivers. Fleming. Wilson, 97 speed. He done really good last year. He's only a sophomore. Like, this team it was the wrong timing to really see the full effect of the first. What is it? We were 3 seasons. This would be the 4 seasons at Tennessee. It's just the wrong timing to see the full effect of all these freshmen that really made an impact early on last year in season 3 at Tennessee. Tight end 6'7", 6'7", and 6'7". That's a chef would be drooling at the mouth to have 3 tight ends at 6'7", especially one that's a senior, one that's a junior, and one that's a freshman. That's great. I think Holland, though, man, his route running and stuff was great as an actual receiver. But 93 catching. Could we ask for a better tight end to fit in the system that I run than 93 catching as a damn and 94 catching traffic? He's better than the receivers that we have. I should have just moved him to receiver. 88 route running, 86 route running, 81 route running. Man, come on. This is the worst timing ever. I don't even know how they are at blocking. I'm actually going to look at that. I never look at the 72, and of course it is. We don't care. They don't need to block. We run 4 wide. You get out there and catch the football, man. This team's set up to be something better than that, better than our Oklahoma State team. All right, the offensive line, 79 as a senior. That's not the greatest thing, and probably the weakness of our team right now, currently as it sits, would probably be the offensive line. But I think if you talk to anybody else in the Dynasty, they would probably say the same thing. Like, nobody's ever completely happy with their offensive line. That's just how it kind of goes. But this guy here, though, he's going to be great for a long time. 85, sophomore left guard. It's perfect. And 92 as a center. What's that right tackle? Right guard, 86. Right tackle, 89. Maybe they're not so bad. Just the left side, apparently. Well, maybe just him, actually. Yeah, we'd have to get somebody at the tackle position over there because he's a senior. That's an 85 as a sophomore. That's 92 as a senior. 86 as a sophomore. And 89 as a junior. Well, maybe the offensive line's not so bad after all. Just like, we would need a couple of offensive linemen, but the way the recruiting has been going, I probably would guess that they're probably end up getting a couple people. That sentence didn't come out like it should have. Jones and Lawson. We got everybody, junior, freshman, and senior, all in the 80s. I didn't redshirt anybody either. We're not going to do that. I don't know if there would be anybody to redshirt, but we're not going to mess with that stuff right now. I'm trying to get to this quick. And probably the reason why this is so, I don't want to let go of this team. They're so good. And I still don't know what team I'm going to pick, but they're not going to be this good. Like, that's going to be 100% of a thing. We got a guy that's not even going to play with freaking 92 block shredding. Why didn't I put him as a fucking defensive tackle? He probably should be in there, actually. I mean, there's tons of stuff. This is a very versatile team. Gosh. The right end, Meyer, at 96 speed now. Ain't that something? But this is kind of why I wanted to go over this, just to kind of have everybody drilling in the mouth on the team that's really badass. His tackling and hit power is still pretty good. His block shredding and stuff's really not all that great. That's the same guy. Yeah. Jones really needs to be a defensive tackle. The defensive line here, defensive tackle, they're still pretty good, but that Jones guy, he probably I didn't see that earlier, but he probably should have been moved to defensive tackle. What's his speed, actually? Now I'm just... 77, yeah. He's not super fast for what I like as a defensive end, but that's all right. So Sawyer's an 83 now. Still pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to keep this short. I keep saying that, but I keep talking about it because this is the kind of stuff that I like. I like this stuff just as much as playing. And then Greenwood. Let's take a look at his stats real quick. So speed, acceleration's good. Where else did he get good at? I told Chef just to go ahead and skip the training results. I didn't want to take any time to look at it. So the tackling, the hit power is still good, and the block shredding is an 84. The pursuit's great. The man coverage is zone coverage. He's not a coverage guy, but you know what? He's really come through. And as a matter of fact, didn't he have interception last year? Might have been in some zone coverage stuff, or maybe somebody just made a bad decision when he was in a spy. That's okay. I don't necessarily want him to cover anybody, and I don't put him in positions where he really has to cover anybody. I just want him to smack people in the mouth, and he does a good job at that. And then our corners, we got great speed across the board. Let's run straight to the man coverage. So we got 98 as a junior. Wow, Nugent, what's up, man? 93, 92, 88, 83. And you got to remember that since we got, what's his name as a defensive coordinator, all those are going to be +4 during game time. Are you kidding me? Where's the press at? We could use some in the press department, but that's okay. You know, I think the secondary is just as good, if not better, than next year. Because we got these two dudes here as a freshman that we didn't even redshirt. Bass, 86. He's got elite speed. I think his is up there in the upper high 90s, too. Strong safety. Freshman. What we'd probably end up doing is probably putting Williams in the secondary, right here. I can't have that 74 and 75 when we do run blitzing and have cover 0 out of the nickel. We can't have 74 and 75 on people's tight ends or slot receivers and stuff. We can't have that. That just doesn't. That wouldn't jive. We need something else in there. Maybe Allen. Maybe. I don't know. We'd have to look and see. I don't know exactly what I do. I don't know. I talked about how good the secondary is. We're actually short like one person to really make it really elite, in my opinion. We're missing one guy. He's either going to be a guy in the secondary that can cover better but can't tackle, or we got to put somebody else up in Williams. We can move Williams to either one of the safety spots and move somebody else up. But then again, you know, I hit the wrong button there. It shows who else is here in the man coverage department. We have more than what it shows here. Never mind. There's Siegel. Why isn't he in there? Where's Thompson at? Where's Walden at? Never mind. Our secondary's fine. What the fuck's this game doing? That's stupid. Why aren't they in here? I mean, I understand why they're not in there, but that's just dumb. When you're trying to set up your depth chart, it needs to show you all the players that are there for the position. Because all of a sudden it made me think that we were short a person. We're not short a person. What is this? Because there's 2 people that are supposed to be there that we can move to somewhere else. For Siegel, that played all last year, then all of a sudden he's nowhere to be found. What? the game's probably not accounting for as many people as I recruit to go into secondary. You don't need 15 people to be secondary players. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do when you run quarters. But anyways, it probably should show everybody, but it doesn't. I don't like that. But that's it. I think we're number 8. So we're starting the year at number 8. I don't even know if Chef's going to show this, but he might. Kind of here's the kind of rundown. I'm not going to call it out or anything. But that's where we'd start out at. Positions needed: a center and a punter. Are you shitting me? We need some more linemen than that. I gotta call it here. That's it's enough talking about Tennessee. We gotta let them go and move on to whoever team I'm gonna pick. We're gonna recruit and build somebody else up. Probably gonna be a bit of a struggle, but we'll have new playmakers and new people, and we'll have fun with it. I appreciate everybody watching, and I hope you're excited to move on to the new team and new season. We'll see you then.